Hello there, and welcome to the EDC Empire. Today, I will be reviewing the CIVIVI Anthropos, designed by Elijah Isham. The CIVIVI Anthropos is a liner lock knife with a flipper tab as its primary form of deployment. The CIVIVI Anthropos has a D2 fully flat ground drop point style blade with a very interesting set of handle materials. On the CIVIVI Anthropos, the handle materials are G10 with metal liners. However, there are carbon fiber overlays with these overlays transferring to the other side of the G10 as well, meaning that the G10 and metal do not actually touch. In addition to this, there is a G10 backspacer and an overall very simplistic but very stylistic design. The overall length of the CIVIVI Anthropos is 7.4 inches. When it's closed, 4.2 inches. When the CIVIVI Anthropos is folded, it has a depth of 1.34 inches, meaning that compared to the PM2, for example, its footprint is pretty good. In addition to this, the width of the pivot for the CIVIVI Anthropos is just a little bit more than that of the PM2. Alright, speaking of the PM2, let's get into some size comparisons here, including the PM2 and the Spyderco Delica. Looking at it here, it is pretty clear that the PM2 is significantly larger than the Anthropos, and the Delica is just a tad bit smaller. Then, bringing in the CIVIVI Elementum and Benchmade Bug Out. The Benchmade Bug Out is just a tad bit larger, but pretty similar, and the CIVIVI Elementum is noticeably smaller. Then finally, we're going to bring in some size comparisons with some other knives designed by Elijah Isham, including the Megatherium and the Minitherium. The Megatherium, quite aptly, is quite a lot larger than the Anthropos, while the Minitherium is actually very similar, if not almost the exact same size. Finally, we will look at the Wee Arrakis, which is definitely a larger knife compared to the Anthropos. Alright, now the overall blade length of the Anthropos is 3.2 inches, while the edge length is 1.38. Then the blade stock is 0.12 inches with a weight of 3.3 ounces. Now we're going to get into my overall thoughts, positives and negatives, and then whether or not I recommend this knife. The positives of this knife are primarily that it is a cheaper Elijah Isham knife and is overall a decent design. Personally, Elijah Isham is one of my favorite designers. I really like his kind of design style with a definite finger choil, but then a more backward finger lock-in as well. The Anthropos definitely has that here, with a more neutral grip and then a more choked up grip being here, which is less comfortable, but still definitely applicable. In the more neutral grip, it's definitely more comfortable. However, the pocket clip is a more negative to me. The pocket clip is the older, I guess, style of CIVIVI clip, different from that of the CIVIVI Elementum's clip, and it still has that same large bill and overall throws off the very nice style of the Anthropos. Some negatives to me are that there's only this one form of deployment, which, while good and does not hook on anything by design, when pulling it out of the pocket or pulling anything else out of the pocket, it is not the most comfortable design and also leaves a little bit to be desired when you just want something more subtle. You can just do this thing where you grip it with both your middle finger and your thumb and just roll it out the rest of the way with your thumb. And I have found that occasionally I'm able to kind of flick open the blade, but like that. However, neither are consistent, neither are really enjoyable. So the main way that you're going to want to do it is with that flipper tab. Actually, next, the Anthropos, unlocking it can be very uncomfortable, and that's mainly due to the fact that you kind of just have to dig your thumb in and with the tip of your thumb and just kind of hope for the best, meaning that it's not the most comfortable. Personally, the aesthetic to me is very appealing, especially with this orange and carbon fiber colorway. However, there are a number of other options. Getting into the colorways of this knife, the 3 most available versions are the G10 with the carbon fiber overlays, being that with the orange, blue, and black. There are other versions of the CIVIVI Anthropos, including a G10 carbon fiber version with Damascus, Damascus with wood handles, and brass and copper handled versions, which look fantastic. However, none of them are currently available, and at primary retailers, and this knife is no longer being produced. Unfortunately, Elijah Isham passed away last year, 2023, and none of his knives are being produced anymore. However, the standard G10 with carbon fiber overlay versions of the Anthropos are still readily available at retailers such as Knife Center and Blade HQ. And Blade HQ, for example, puts the CIVIVI Anthropos on sale quite frequently, to around $45 from its standard $56. Overall, if you enjoy the look of this knife, it is definitely recommendable. It's not going to be quite as good of an EDC knife as something like the Benchmade Bugout. However, if you enjoy the overall style of Elijah Isham and either want another one of his knives or don't want to spend the large amount of money which some of these can cost, it definitely does make sense. Definitely a bit more of a niche design. However, it's very recommendable if you enjoy it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you own this knife, let me know what you think of it. Thanks.